Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh, Nerd Singh here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Lumix Panasonic GH5 Mark II and the announcement of the development of the GH6. The GH5 Mark II is coming out, they said, in July, and the GH6 should come out by the end of the year. So I just watched the live announcement, which was an hour long. The actual kind of product announcement was just a few minutes, and then two guys from Panasonic went live, and then so I've extracted all of the stuff that they talked about, took some notes, so I'm going to try and condense that for you, and let's get straight into it. So starting with the GH5 Mark II, they could tell us a lot more about this. This was kind of a full announcement that it's coming out and very soon. The GH6 was quite secretive in that sense. I'm just going to read off my notes here and talk to you a little bit about my reactions and thoughts on this. So one of the very interesting features is that you can directly stream to YouTube from the camera using the app. So I asked in the chat and they did actually respond to it. You cannot add overlays. So how that works for us in terms of broadcasting Keith and putting overlays, I'm not sure. But they did say in their live stream that it's so easy. And you can see it in the video as well. I'll put the link in the description, that you literally just connect it to your phone. You press what channel you want to go on, if it's YouTube or Facebook. I think there was another one as well. And it creates the YouTube link for you. You copy it from that app, so you don't even need to go make events and do stuff on YouTube, and you're live. So really interesting feature there on the GH5 Mark II. And then in terms of the actual camera and the hardware, it's going to have a new 5-axis stabilization. So they said that this is a big bump up from the GH5. It's closer to the G9, which apparently is one of the better stabilization hardware in the Panasonic lineup. And it's going to have, software-wise, going to have a red square around the screen for recording. I will definitely appreciate this, like when I'm filming weddings and things from far away and it's quite hard to see that flashing red dot on the corner. That'll be great. It can do 10-bit color internal. It's going to have a new record button. It's got enhanced autofocus. So yeah, they didn't say much about the autofocus, and really this is probably the biggest downfall of the Panasonic series compared to Sony and Canon. Like, the autofocus is terrible and be one of the main reasons I would switch, to be honest. But we'll find out when it comes out, I guess. It's going to have a brighter screen, 120 frames per second viewfinder, so that'll be good for photography. The USB port now, the USB-C port is now powered, so you can charge your batteries and you can power the camera whilst you're running it, from what I understood. It's going to have a new battery, it's going to have a higher capacities, but you can still, they're cross-compatible with the GH5, so you can use batteries in either camera, and you can use the new charger to charge the old GH5 batteries, and it'll do it faster, I think. And there's a new button on the top, a new function button, which is set to go straight to your color profiles, and you can change all the things from, saturation and hue and contrast and all that kind of stuff. So normally you'd have to dive quite deep into the menus to get to that, but it's a function button at the end of the day, so if that's not useful to you, then you can just press and hold it and change that. So in terms of cards, it's still the GH6 II, so the V90 will have 2 of those slots. It's still unlimited recording time. So in terms of price, they did actually announce that it's going to be $69.99.99. That's US dollars, so I would say that's quite respectable. Just on the live streaming, it was asked that will live streaming be available as a firmware update in the GH5, and they didn't say no, but what they did say was that they had to rebuild the architecture for the GH5 Mark II. It's the same sensor and it's the same in many ways, but there is a new architecture, and so they kind of saying that it's probably because of that new architecture that they were able to do this direct live streaming thing. But they did say never say never, so it's not impossible, but it's probably unlikely. So now the anticipated GH6, so they put out this revealer picture. It looks really cool. It looks like the full frame cameras actually that Panasonic make. But yeah, brand new sensor, a new engine, 422 10-bit 4K 60p unlimited video recording. So impressive. And 10-bit 4K slow-mo at 120 frames per second. So yes, this is what we were waiting for. 4K B-roll in slow-mo and 10-bit 5.7K at 60p. So it's really exciting there in the sensor, and literally that's all they said. But then in the live stream afterwards, they did say that it's going to be around the $2.5 mark. That's again US dollars. So new sensor, new image quality, but that's about it. That's all we know so far. But it's not 8K, 5.7K. I'm not sure why they couldn't make it 6K, but maybe the 8-bit will be 6K. I'm not sure. Really excited for this, and it should be coming out this year, so we don't have to wait too long for that. And finally, they've actually announced a brand new lens from Leica. So it's a 25 to 50mm f1.7. So that equated in the full frame world is a 50 to 100. So I think this is kind of going to target the Sigma, the popular Sigma. So yeah, exciting about that one. I don't think I'd personally invest in it. So there you go. There's my summarized version of the live stream. I hope you found that interesting. Some concerns I've got really are how good that live streaming capability is going to be. Is it raw? If they could have it a way that you could have overlays and add things to it, at least your logo and something, you know, that would be really good. The improved autofocus, they said that the new system that they're putting in, it's going to require firmware updates for the lenses as well. And they mentioned quite a few lenses that they're going to do it for, but they didn't mention the 42.5 1.2, which I was disappointed about. And they also didn't mention compatibility with Metabones and other kind of adapters. So, you know, a lot of Micro Four Thirds users, they use, like, for example, this Sigma 18 to 35 with the Metabones or, you know, Viltrox, and they didn't mention anything about that. Will that still work? Will that be okay? So that's a slight concern. But other than that, you know, initially the community were kind of saying that the GH5 Mark II is just a marketing strategy, that, like, you know, it's just the GH5 came out in like January 2017, and this is just a little bump up to say, yeah, we've got a GH5 you can buy that's a 2021 model. But actually it's quite packed with some new features, and GH6 is a very exciting announcement, and look forward to learning more. So I hope you enjoyed that, and take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Nerdsing out.